Okay, students, welcome. And I am Dr. J. Deanda, but students call me Dr. DA. Most of you know me already. And of course, I think most of you know my story. I was born in San Francisco. So yes, I'm a Giants, 49ers, and Warriors fan. Sorry, Dodgers and Lakers and Rams fans. And I actually grew up in the island of Puerto Rico, where I went to college, got my degree there, got married, moved to Boston, where I did my graduate work at MIT in biochemistry. I did a few years of research under a grant from the American Cancer Society. Um, and then, interestingly, I left my career for several years to work for an international church organization. So I was a little bit of everything, a minister, I was in publications, I was in administration, different kinds of things, travel around the world. So I have a true, real network of international friends. I know people literally around the world, and I love it. It has broadened my perspectives, my understanding of people, and it's so cool. I love that I have these friends from all over the world. In 2014, after a few years of kind of juggling like 4 different jobs, I landed here at Long Beach City College as a full-time instructor. And I've been teaching mainly general chemistry for these past 7.5, 8 years. So I love it. I love teaching. I don't do this because I can't get any other job. Like I said, I do have opportunities in other areas. And actually, I have worked even in investments, in publications. I mean, I've done many things. So I do this because I love it. And I love the environment here at Long Beach City College. Vikings forever. And I'm very proud to serve this institution and very happy for the opportunity that I get to help so many people, young and old, and from all different kinds of backgrounds, kind of like reach a little closer to their success points, right? Uh, like I said, many of you already know me, and you know what my teaching style and philosophy is. What I like to emphasize is I like to train the way people think, not so much as feed them content. It is unfortunate that both this class and Chem 1A are very heavy in content requirements. It's because of curriculum and all these kinds of things that I don't have a control over. But, what I try to do is mostly emphasize the thinking process, trying to teach you to think like a chemist, let's say more like a scientist, to go by facts, to develop ideas well, to support and debate ideas that are presented to you or by you. So that's really what I like a lot, okay? I am very open to questions. You can ask me any question you want, okay? I am never, or hopefully, I'm never gonna make you feel that, the question you're asking is like not worthy or whatever. No, no, no. In Dr. DA's house, any question is good. But if you don't ask, I don't have the superpower of reading minds. I can't do that one. So if I don't know what you're struggling with, probably not going to be able to help you. Although sometimes I can kind of glean it from the things that you write and do on your assignments. I'm able to sometimes identify some of the struggling points. And it's important to me because sometimes you might be struggling with something and you think it's you and not realize that, no, it may have been the way it was built, or maybe the questions were posed, and maybe it's my fault. So I need to interact with you guys a lot on that kind of thing, so you can let me know if things are not clear, okay? Cool. And like I said, for those of you who joined a little late, we are gonna have supplemental instruction. Our supplemental instruction leader is Jordan Cook. She helped me in the spring in this class. She was wonderful. The students loved her, gave her very, very good reviews. She is currently at Cal State Long Beach. She was my student in Chem 1B, and she has helped a couple of instructors here, but she's phenomenal, and she'll get a chance to introduce herself via a video that she'll post on our Canvas website later on. She's right now kind of in transit. She has some meetings, and she's starting school also this semester, so she was kind of busy and couldn't join us today. All right, so what else can I tell you? So here's the plan for today. This is going to be a very brief session. Everything that I'm going to talk about is already in our Canvas page. So please, hopefully you've already explored it. You've joined it. It's very similar. Those of you who took Chem 1A with me, it's very, very similar to the way the one in Chem 1A was organized. So let's go ahead and go there. We'll have an opportunity for questions. Now, if you can put them on your chat box right now, that'd be fine. I can't see the chat box in this view that I'm using right now. So please forgive me. And hopefully you'll be able to give me some time in a few minutes to take a break, read through your questions, and then respond to them. And then at the end of the session, I'll stop the recording, open it up in gallery views so we can all see each other's faces and we can talk a little more if you want to. Okay, but in any case, I don't anticipate being here later than 6. Okay, I want to cut it off at 6 o'clock, no later than that, if at all possible. Okay, so again, let's do some things that we normally do here. Let me see, where am I? Here we go. I'm going to share my screen here. And again, you have these blank faces that professors give when they're doing this. Here is, oh, this is not it. So some of the ways that you're going to reach our learning environment, since the class is purely online and completely asynchronous, meaning that, I'm going to be not teaching you live. There's not going to be live sessions. So some of the ways you reach it is, I think I'm showing you here, hopefully, my Google homepage. And you can simply punch in lbcc.instruct. Oh, it's already in there. I guess I forgot to clear the cache. So if you go there, for example, it's going to open to the Viking portal, and you can log in with your credentials in there. You can also go to our homepage, the lbcc.edu homepage, and over here there's a Canvas LMS, and you can click that, and it'll open to a page where you can click, and it'll also open to your Viking portal. Or alternatively, from the homepage itself, you can also directly open the portal, and you can go in there and log in with your credentials. Now, let me do something here. I'm going to change the way this thing is going. Let's see. I guess this is what I was supposed to do in here. Hold a second. Give me a moment here. Let's see if this works. Sorry, I was supposed to actually log into the portal, right? Oh, wait a minute. You're not seeing this. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me share my screen. Hold on. This, that. Okay, some things don't change after this. You've been with me before. Nothing really continues being super expensive. Okay, let's go back here. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Again, I may have to fine tune this thing a little bit later when I give you the recording. Okay, so when we open the Viking portal, I'm sorry, this is what you would have seen. Again, yours might look a little different than mine because this is the instructor one. So I'm gonna go here to Canvas, and you will see a dashboard that contains several tiles in it. And you're familiar with this, right? So the one we want is the one that says Chem 1B. So here it is. But before I go there, let me show you a few things that are important. Here on the left side, there is a help button. And I would like for you to be familiar with that because there's a lot of different support services in here with Canvas for, general tech support, all this kind of stuff. So make sure you navigate through there. Now, let me do this. I'm going to open our homepage, and I'm going to do a little switcheroo here because since what I have is the faculty or the instructor version, I'm going to switch here to something they call the student view, which is sort of like a mimic of what you would see when you open this thing. So again, remember that the left side of Canvas is called the global navigation bar. And over there, what's important for you, of course, you can see your different courses. Like I said, you can access the help menu there. You can also access the inbox, which right now is not going to work because what I'm showing you here is a kind of like a mimic or a mock student view, which is not going to work for us, right? So what I want us to do is let's go back to our actual page here. This is our home page. And by this point, you should have been able to go through this home page. Remember that there are several ways that you can access contents. One of them is to this link on the left here called modules. The other one is to scroll down the home page to this dashboard here, where you can have links that take you to the different sections in the course. Let's make sure that you remember that announcements are the way that I communicate with you, okay? So it's very important that at some point you go here in the link on the left on the global bar that says notifications. And again, mine is not gonna work because this is a mock account, but you will see there your personal profile. And what you wanna do is you wanna turn on your notifications so that these announcements show up on your inbox, in your email inbox. And of course, you've already seen some of these that I sent before. Very important, of course, is our syllabus. And what I'd like for us to do for a moment here is I'm going to switch here to a different share screen. I want to go to a copy of the syllabus that navigates a little better. Here it is. Okay, so okay, guys. Over the past few years, because of so many changes in our society, the school has required us to build a more robust syllabus, and sometimes it gets downright huge. So if you were to download this PDF, it's 11 pages long. I used to have like a 2-page syllabus and then a 1-page schedule. Sorry about that. This is the way it is. But there's a few things I want you to do if you haven't done so already. Please navigate through this. There's a lot of information here. Most everything you need to know is in here. A couple of things I want to highlight. One of them is, there's some software that you're going to need. And what I'd like for you to do is to make sure that you look through this section here and that you have access to these things. As LBCC students, you have access to the, sorry about that. You have access to the LBCC Office 360, to the Office 365 suite that has all these good things, PowerPoint and Excel and stuff like that. So please read through there. Also, make sure that you have access to the textbook. There's instructions here, and this depends on whether you've already used this textbook in Chem 1A or you haven't, but please go through there. Here is how the course works, and of course, I've told you about, you can navigate by modules. You can use the dashboard on the homepage to navigate directly. Remember that for each lecture material, lecture unit, which may be made up of several videos, you can always go to this type of PowerPoint download. And as you can see, this is from the first unit, which is chemical kinetics. And the version that you guys get that I would have in hand as you're watching the videos will have a few blanks in there. I'm not like other instructors that have everything blank and you have to fill it all in. So I have a few blanks in there. And then if we have, let me see if I can find one here where we're trying to solve an actual problem. You see, this is it. Yeah. Like for example, in some of them, like this one here, where we are going to be doing problems. Usually I do those on the video, and so you can basically work on it in here. So it depends on the tools that you have. If you guys use something called Notability or any kind of writing tool, if you have access to PowerPoint, if you want to print it and do it by hand, just be my guest, whatever works for you, okay? Let's go back here to the syllabus again. And the one thing I want you to do is, of course, please go down here, how we will communicate. Again, I communicate with you mainly through announcements, right? I think I already told you that. Mainly through announcements. And then my preferred way for you to communicate with me is by using what is called the inbox in Canvas. And this is again on the left side on the global navigation bar. And let me tell you why I do that. The reason why I do that is because I use an app that's on my iPhone. And so that way, when you guys send me messages through this, it shows up in there and I can respond to it more quickly than I would to say emails or even text messages. There's several ways that you can communicate with. Okay, the last thing I want you to see about the syllabus is, let me go down here a few pages. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Okay, exams. So although the class is asynchronous, we do have 3 exams and 1 final, and those are on dates and times that are already set, all right? So what I need you to do is, if you haven't done so already, is I need you to go and look at that, okay? And check your work and your other classes schedules to make sure that there are no conflicts. I'm a nice guy and I try to help you resolve your conflicts. I found that some of my other colleagues are a little less accommodating and they say, no, you have to be at my class at that hour or else you lose points. I get it, guys. I'm sorry that, but I'm a nice guy. I try to work with you, but please try to also to work with me, okay? So if you have any issues with any conflicts of schedule, please let me know a few days in advance of each test. Make sure you check that schedule there, okay? Now, let's go back here to our page. Where is our page? Oh, okay. We have these modules here. And by the way, I am doing this from my home office, which is a little far from the router. And so I may get an interruption in my internet, or the sound might come in a little sketchy, or the video might lag. So please be patient with me. You should have looked at this module here called Before We Begin. There's a lot of instructions there. Also the course materials and resources. In the syllabus at the end, if you downloaded the PDF version, but also in this page here, you can see an at-a-glance schedule of assignments. And let me see if by any chance I can get this to open so we can see it. Oh, here it is. So here basically you can see all of the assignments week by week, date by date, when they are due, so that you can keep track of them. Notice that technically today, you would be submitting what we call homework 0, which is essentially a review of Chem 1A stuff, like balancing equations, writing formulas, understanding, types of compounds and that kind of stuff. Now, let me show you, again, like I did in Chem 1A, I provide you with a suggested study plan for each week. So this is the one for week 1, and you can download these. I'll show you in a moment how the course is organized. And it tells you, for each day, what assignments are due. For example, here for 8:30, we have homework 0. But it also gives you an idea of what you could be working on any given day. Notice that we do have a safety quiz coming up on September 1st. And that essentially, it tells you here, you should have been reviewing that before you started the, let me see. Or anyway, here, you can see that there. So I told you that before you started, you should have probably reviewed some of your lab safety guidelines from Chem 1A, and we're gonna have a lab safety quiz. But here's the thing. I'm gonna give you the answers to that so you can kind of like check it yourselves, all right? So everybody should be able to ace that. I just want you to have that fresh in your minds. So for every week, let me show you come back to our Canvas page. For every week, we have a module here, and the top part of our Canvas course, we have a week-by-week navigation, all right? By the way, here is the module we're gonna have for supplemental instruction. Jordan is gonna populate that with different kinds of activities, plus the connections for whenever you're gonna have a supplementary instruction meetings. These are live, all right? Similarly, I'm gonna have office times, but they're gonna start next week, and I'll post the schedule for those. So here is, for example, one way that the course is organized is you can go week by week. So for, let's say, week 1, here are the different topics that you could be covering on that week. These are the assignments that are due. As you can see, homework 0 is due today, but I have the answers here. You can check them. There's an activity called Lab Techniques that is due tomorrow. Again, I have the answers provided. And there's a lab safety quiz due by Wednesday, which the answers are provided also. Now, there is going to be a second quiz later in the week. That one you have to do by yourselves. I think all of you are familiar with these things, right? How to submit assignments and stuff. Here are here's a tab that has all the assignments. It can show them by either by type. So you have discussions, you have lab reports, you have quizzes, or they can show it to you. You can see it by date, and you can see in order that they're due. So let's see. I don't think any of these are available yet, but here is, well, here's the one that is due today. And again, it gives you the explanations, gives you downloads, and then it gives you here a chance to start the assignment, which basically what it's going to do is it's going to open a box where you are going to essentially submit a file. I am not equipped right now to do all these different kinds of, Google Drive or Dropboxes. So please just upload the files. And there is a page that explains to you what types of formats you should use. Actually, it might tell you here. Yeah, here it says PDF or Doc or DocX. Those are and please follow the protocol here for how to name these files. This is because if I have to download them, I want to make sure that I know who wrote it and what it was for. All right. In some assignments, you are going to be asked to basically, what's the word? Oh, you're going to be asked to essentially download a data set and use it to complete your assignment. Let me see if I have one of those in here. It might not be open yet, so let's see if it'll work, okay? I give you in the before we begin module instructions on how to find your assignments. So here you go to the grades, and then you find, let's see if I have it in here. Yeah. So for example, in your grades, you're going to see all the different assignments that are due. And then over here, for example, this is experiment P5, which is when we study radioactivity and radioisotopes and nuclear chemistry. You're going to have an activity, and this is a purely dry lab. I'm going to give you data. So notice that for that assignment, over here on the far right, there's a little icon for dialogues or comments. So if you click that, it'll tell you, hello, please use the attached data set to complete this activity. Don't forget to follow the instructions. And then it gives you a link here to download your unknown. So that is what you'll use for that activity. Now, let me show you. Let me see if that assignment is up already so you can see what it consists on. Let me show it by type here. And this is going to be a lab report on radioisotopes. It might not be open yet. Yes, it's locked. But basically, it'll give you the explanation, and then you'll take that radioisotope data sheet. Let me show you what it looks like. Here we go. Here is the, this is where the, hopefully you can see this. So this would be the unknown. Number 5, it gives you an element, and it gives you some data, which you'll understand later on. You're going to use this to construct a graph and you're going to use it to find the rate of decay of this isotope. And based on some parameters, you'll be able to identify what isotope of zirconium this is. All right. So that's kind of like the way these things work. All right. Let me do this. What time is it? So let's take a little short break now. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. Resume. Okay, so I'm resuming the recording here. So for those of you who are watching the recorded portion, what I did during that break was I checked if there were any questions. There really were not any questions. We did a quick poll and found out that there's a few of you that are concerned about whether you can make it in this class. Hey, I'm here for you. My goal is to help you succeed. Like I said, I don't have the power to read your minds, so I really need for you to participate and ask me a lot of questions. Don't be shy. We are going to have supplemental instruction sections, so I strongly encourage you to participate in those because our SI leader, Jordan Cook, is phenomenal. She's very good and very compassionate, very compassionate. So again, please communicate with me. Let me know how things are going. As I was saying, the course is not easy and it takes a lot of work, a lot of studying on your own. I know that for some of us, it's still a little hard to do things, online, but hopefully we can take you through it. Okay, so in our first section here, I walked you through the syllabus. I show you a little bit of how the weekly modules work, what a typical set of PowerPoint downloads looks like on your end, what an assignment looks like and how to find your assignments, and in the cases where you have labs that have like we call an unknown data set that you're going to use, how to get that and how to download it, right? I think that I wanted to show you one more thing because this is new and I don't know if I can make it work, but the school was able to obtain through funding a concession with something called Labster. And so I'm going to show you here. Let me go back to our assignments tab here. Again, I'm showing you here a mock version of what students see. And we have different kinds of assignments. We have discussions. I call our discussion place the Kinetic Lounge. And this week, I'm hoping that you can go in there and read some information here. And your task will pretty much be to post some kind of bio and then interact with other students in the class. Now, the Kinetic Lounge, our discussion forum, really is open for students. In other words, it's for you. You can start your own discussion threads here. If you want to set up group study sessions here, that's fine. That being said, I know that some of you guys are a little shy about having a discussion forum in a place where you know that the instructor can see what's going on. So, if you guys want to set up a Discord or some other type of discussion board, hey, do it, all right? I want you to do it. But I'm just saying that this discussion forum in Canvas, this, what do you call it, the Kinetic Lounge, this is for you. Now, there are, as you saw there, a few assignments that you're going to be doing that are discussions. And honestly, most of these are not directly related to the class topics. They're going to be about education, about things that you can do. I got one here on changing DNA. I want to talk a little bit about CRISPR and, some of the crazy things that scientists can do these days. I'm going to let you kind of have fun with those discussions there. They are for credit. They're worth 5 points. All I ask is that when you post things in these forums and when you interact with each other, that you respect and you, honor the rules of netiquette, which are described in our syllabus. Okay. All right. So let me take you to another type of assignment. Of course, you have labs. And as I said, a lot of these labs, for example, this is called lab techniques. I'm just gonna give you a little hand download, a handout here. You'll download it, you'll answer either by hand or in a file, and then you'll upload your answers. Just be aware that I am actually posting the answers to this assignment in particular. So before you turn it in, please self grade yourself, okay? And I wanted to show you here at the very bottom of this. Oh, homework, I forgot. I just want to make sure that you guys know how homework works. So I'm going to take you back here to the modules. We're going to look here where it says course materials and resources. And over here, it says homework assignments. Now, remember that you have different options in terms of your textbook. If you took Chem 1A with me, you were enrolled in what's called the first day program. So you had Chemistry, a Molecular Approach by Nevaldo Tro, the 5th edition. You still have a way of doing that. You had to go through a third party, and there's a link here that takes you there so you can log in and get access to the same text. Now, if you decided to buy it, in the used book market, you may be able to get the 4th or even the 3rd edition, and that's fine, because in terms of homework, what's going to happen is actually I can let you have the 4th or the 5th edition. If you have the 3rd edition, just let me know. I'll work something for you. But the idea here is, let's say you have the 5th edition, which is the one that many of you have online. What you do here is you go to this page, and over here is a downloadable list of what are the problems that you're supposed to answer. So for example, when we start with chemical kinetics, notice that even though that is unit 13, it is actually chapter 15 of the textbook. In other words, the unit number and the chapter numbers don't match because we have different editions of the textbook. Notice that you go to chapter 15, and these are the problems that you're supposed to solve from the end of that chapter. Only those. Now, I encourage you to work on more of those, but these are the ones you're responsible for. You can answer them by hand or digitally. Just make sure that you read the instructions here in the back that tell you what is the format of an assignment. I need you to make sure, especially, that you show your calculations. How did you set it up? If there are discussion questions, how did you arrive at your answer? Okay, so make sure that you give me complete answers. Otherwise, your assignment will not get full credit. So that's how it works. Now, let me go back here to the assignments where we were before, and I'm going to start wrapping things up here. I'm excited about showing you this, and I just keep getting distracted. Sorry. Okay, at the very bottom here, there's something. Oh, by the way, your exams are going to show up here as they come, and we'll talk about those later on. I don't want to distract you with that right now. I have 2 extra credit opportunities this year for you. Ta-da! Are you excited? So what I was saying is, our school was able, this is long. Tell you what I'm going to do. I want to show you this. So I'm going to get out of the student view so I can show you this. This is a simulation. It's like a virtual simulation. And they give you a scenario, and they give you like a kind of like a canvas where you're going to work on this. So sorry to borrow the, I want to see if I can show you this. That's why I left a little time here at the end. This is what it looks like. It takes a little while to load, and I want to make sure I did it extra credit because I don't know that everybody is going to be able to do this, full on. It all depends on your your computer. So it should work well on if you use Google Chrome browser, and it should work very well if you use Safari, which is the one on Macs. Because of it's a little complicated. So if you don't have a computer, feel free to go to the school and use the computer labs over there. It's a little hard to do these things on a phone, but some of my summer students did this on a phone. So here's the way it goes. Let me see if I can make it work. See, it takes a while to load, but be patient. And then when you go in, this is an exercise on equilibrium. Let me see if I can. Okay. So let me see if, hold on a second. I don't know if this sounds good.
Welcome to Labster. Let's get ready for this virtual learning session.
Isn't that cool?
Welcome to the chemical equilibrium simulation. In this simulation, you will learn about reversible reactions and how to influence their directionality. Will you find a way to boost fertilizer production and feed the world? Using the lab pad is an important way to get the most out of this simulation. Is this the first time you've played a Labster simulation?
So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys do that, and let me get out of here for a moment so I can go back and yes. I had one student in the summer. Somebody's asking on the chat if your PC is gonna catch on fire. Well, hold on. Let me for a moment here. Let me go back here and close this simulation here. Okay. So anyway, so a couple of questions about that. These two activities are extra credit, so they're not part of your regular assignments. Your regular assignments are all going to be kind of like you're going to watch videos, you're going to be shown demonstrations, some of them done by me, some of them just third-party videos, and then you'll be given a data set that you will use to analyze and produce your lab report. These two activities are extra credit. So at some point, they're going to show up. They're not available right now for students, but they're going to show up and you can do them and submit them. Each one of them will give you up to 10 extra credit points. So to them, that's 20 points. That's the equivalent of like 2 quizzes that you may have missed or 1 lab report that you may have missed. It's kind of like, and it's very cool. Now, somebody was asking if your PC is going to catch on fire. So I did this for the summer Chem 1A class, and the feedback I got was that at worst, what might happen sometimes is that it'll get stuck and you'll have to resume, but it lets you go back to it saves at strategic points throughout. And so if you get stuck, you can always go back to the previous save and it'll work through it. It's really cool. It gives you, videos. It shows you, the instruments that you're gonna use there. So you're gonna, it doesn't feel like the real thing, but it's better than watching a video that you don't have any control over. So hopefully you'll enjoy those. For my Chem 1A group this semester, I'm actually doing 3 lab activities that are gonna be part of the course because apparently the summer group did well. So it should be okay. Here's the advantage that you have this semester. The campus is open. You can actually come to campus. And we have the Science Resource Center is going to be open. The computer labs are going to be open. There's also, I think, Building E and LIC, the student center kind of place, is going to be open also. So outside of the protocols that you have to follow, which, I think there's a page on Canvas. Let me see if I can find it. I have the home page at the beginning here. Let me see. I still have it in here. See, so on the home page here, I believe there's a return to campus. There's all kinds of information in there. So if you want, you can, go to campus. You have to follow certain protocols regarding, vaccination, health checks, all that kind of stuff. It might be quite annoying. It might take you like a good half hour to do it, but you can use the computers on campus to do these activities. And that way, if you're concerned about your computer or your iPhone not being able to handle it, you can do that. Like I said, this is going to be later in the semester, so we still have time. And I hope you enjoy it, and then I'll give you a chance to give me some feedback about those activities. All right. Hold on a second. Let me check if there's any other questions. No more questions on the chat. So guys, I'm very excited. I think that, like I said, most of you have already taken Chem 1A with me. If you have any problems with the how to access the materials, again, don't forget that. Oh, one thing that let me show you something that I'm planning to do this semester. This is something that I got from my students last semester. Was when you go to the modules here, right? Um, like I said, I have it set up so you go week by week. Now, what I'm going to do is every week, I'm going to take that week's module and I'm going to roll it up to the top. So you don't have to browse the whole thing here to get there. Okay. I'm going to do that. Now, remember that this is to help you guys out. For example, let's say next week, week 2, you can start out with, what is the suggested study plan for that week? This is the lecture stuff. We have some practice exercises. You have a couple of assignments due. There's a lab report on graphing. There's a quiz. And then there's some assignments that are not due on that week, but I am suggesting that you start working on them ahead of time. Again, this is self-paced. I'm putting these things in there to, kind of help you guys navigate along. And don't forget that just like we did in Chem 1A, I have your favorite philosophy appetizers. And for those of you who don't know me, this is my opportunity to share with you some of my wisdom gained because I'm older than you, and put in some provocative thoughts, share some stories, tell you some things about the chemistry industry, all kinds of things. Tomorrow's or this week's philosophy appetizer is called The Finer Things. And I hope you enjoyed it and you can watch it and, comment among yourselves about all this crazy stuff that Dr. DA does. I know that many of you are mainly concerned about grades. You know what, please, I'd hope that I can dispel, relax your stress about that, but I know that that's an impossible task. So just remember, I have deadlines on your assignments, right? They're deadlines. The purpose of those deadlines is to help you stay on pace so you don't get, behind and then you're trying to cram a bunch of stuff at the end and not really get the juice out of the learning process. But all the assignments are typically set up so that they have several days buffer. I don't know if you saw when I was showing you the some of these assignments here. Let me go back here to the assignments. Let's say, for example, let's say the one that's due this week is, let's say, this famous assignment that I'm calling homework 0. You know what? Let me change this to the other view, the student view. Sorry, I forgot I had changed. Okay, so let's show it by dates. And so, for example, homework 0. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I open it, it's better. So as you can see, it's due today by midnight. You have till midnight to submit it. But notice that it's available until the weekend, until Labor Day. So if you did not have a chance to complete it by tonight, you still have it available the rest of the week. And, always, if you turn something in late, write me a note, let me know. If you had any tech problems or you got caught up with work, couldn't do it. You know what? I'm not going to judge what you say. You'll see about that when you look at my philosophy appetizer. I put a high value on trust, and I like for our relationship to be based on trust. So every assignment that I put in there has a deadline that is meant to help you stay on pace, but there's always a few more days available for you to turn it in. And no, I'm not going to dock points for it being, within that time limit. So if you have an assignment that's due tomorrow, but it's available until Sunday night, which is usually the way I work them after a while, that's fine. You're not going to lose points because you turn it in on, Sunday at the last minute. Now, if you go beyond that, you're going to have to negotiate it with me a little bit because I just feel that it's to your detriment if you don't keep pace with the assignments in the course. Okay, remember, this is about learning. I know that I have to give you grades, and I hate that, But from my perspective is I know that you learn better if you establish a pace. And all I'm doing is helping you set up that pace. And within that, giving you a little bit of latitude for you to, deal with your own schedule and other conflicts you might have. You know what? We have students here who are in the healthcare industry. I have students who have their own businesses. I have a student who has their own pharmacy. I have students who have kids at home they have to take care of. Guys, I understand, okay? My son and daughter-in-law have 4 kids. And this past year, uh, going through this remote instruction with 4 elementary school kids at home, well, one middle school kid, I understand, guys. So, anything that you struggle with, please let me know. Just talk with me. I'm cool. Um, and I hear that some of you are going to be setting up Discord. Hey, you know what? Go ahead. Uh, I'm happy you guys can do that. Like I said, feel free to use the Kinetic Lounge forum in Canvas, but I know that you guys might want to talk about things in private. Also, you can, when you have your supplemental instruction leader sign up, Jordan, you can also talk to her, okay? Don't worry, she doesn't tell me everything that she talks about with you. But if she detects that there are some concerns that are legit, she helps me out. She gives me feedback in terms of, you know what, Dr. DA, students are having a hard time with this assignment. Can you make like a special session to work on it, or can you clarify? So, hey, we got a team for you here to help you out, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. So for those of you watching from home, I'll see you later. In the words of my hero, Stan Lee, Excelsior.